Good morning. Good morning, Jeff. How you doing, man? Looks like we gapped down just a little bit, about 50 cents. It was a little bit lower than that, about 4 or 5 this morning. Q is below 330. Since picked back up a little bit. We're almost down $1 on both. DXY ended up breaking down, and I think it kind of picked everything else back up. See what our daily trading log looks like. We were at a -3 this morning for the most part. The markets picked back up from there, of course, like I just said. International markets are back open, of course. So I think that not being open yesterday played a part in what we saw with the markets after looking at it, because they weren't able to trade Sunday night, and probably up until mid Monday night is when they opened in Europe and stuff like that. So interested to see how today goes. Like I said, we're sitting at a -1. The VIX was up about 0.73. I want to see where it's at now. DXY sitting around 92.62 right now. Just broke below the 180 on the 5-minute though. Let's see. 10-minute looks like it's rounding off, but we were trading under the EMA, so I want to see if we stay below that. Or it looks like it was breaking below the EMAs, I say. So, why are my EMAs not picking up here? Let's see what's going on. Yeah, we still are below that 13 EMA. I think this is the first time that the SPY has went red on its EMA since last week, which was March 31st. So we'll see what happens if it's going to bend back up. Now, of course, that happened in after hours, so I want to see what happens with it being in pre-market, if we're going to stay below those levels or not. I know we're trading under the EMAs on the 5 minute for sure, and it went red as well. For the first time since, once again, March 31st after hours. So it did bend back up in pre-market that following day. That was that Thursday, and that's when we ended up taking off the way we did. What I've been paying attention to is the 4 hour on all of these, um, and the fact that we were heavily overbought for the past 2 days for the most part on the 4 hour. And the last time that's happened was in June, September, October. And with that being said, every time that's occurred, for the most part, we have went into a $10 to $15, sometimes even $30 on the queue. We've pulled back, so I'll probably be holding these puts that I have until tomorrow, while looking to potentially hedge my account with calls if I see necessary on the side. So to pick up some of those gains while we're moving forward. I want to see what everything else is looking like. Looks like Bitcoin stuck below 58,000. It's been there since yesterday. US 10-year is at 1.693. TNX, same thing. And Tesla sitting at 69. What is that? 692.94, which it can't seem to stay above $695 for whatever reason. RMO. What did it do? We got back up to 906. Looks like it's about to start picking back up. I wonder if F-Cell's in the same trend. It's actually coming back down some. BLNK. Yeah, they've been working on that agreement for some time now. That's part of the 2.25 billion in contracts that they had coming out. They're also working with Freightliner and Kenworth 18-wheelers as well. Okay. Got you. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people put a price target of like $7 on this thing, but looking at it on the 4 hour, it's about to bend up. Like, I would be more than happy to hop back into it right now, with some potential calls back to potentially like the $10.50, $11 price ranges. I think that the earnings report beat down that it took has pretty much ended for the most part. So I knew it wasn't gonna last forever, but Tesla can't do what it needs to do. I think it's still gonna bend a lot of these EVs down more. But Tesla actually broke a daily trend that it's been in. I was looking at. Let me pull some of these functions out of here so we can look at it a little bit more in depth. So something to this degree, and it broke that going into March 31st, and they expected it to pick up, but I wanted to see how it reacted to that 60.95 level, and we actually bounced above it yesterday for the most part, but it wasn't able to hold. Ended up coming back down below 695 again, but it gapped up pretty heavily due to the fact that the Q gapped up as well. Microsoft, Apple had a run yesterday, along with some other names, but we have since filled that gap that it pulled off yesterday, and we still have a gap. No, it filled that gap too. We have this this large gap right here to start filling now. I was looking at the peak of Thursday to where it gapped up. We have filled that gap, but from where it closed Thursday to where it gapped up this morning, that has not been filled yet. So I wonder if it's going to be, or if it's going to continue running. Let's look at the SPY real quick. It's picking back up above 406. What I'm paying attention to on it is the 405.76 levels. It gapped down a little bit below it this morning. I want to see if it presses below that. We still have a gap to fill back to between 401 and 402, and then another one from Thursday around 396 to 398 that has not been filled yet, of course. And even if you were to look at the 180 gap, it's still sitting around that 401 level. So hopefully we can see this crest. I thought that this was cresting as of yesterday, and I want to see this come down and tap the 180 at least on the 10 minute. We have an even larger gap which rests around the 396s on the 180. That has not yet been filled, and we are cresting there as well. So looking forward to seeing what today brings. We actually went out of overbought status, on the 30 minute, which we've been settling in since last Thursday. And it's finally gapped down. I want to see if it potentially pulls up a little bit, taps that overbought status again, and then pulls down ultimately. Looks like it was trying to create a head and shoulders on the RSI. But what caught my attention about the futures this morning is that of the 1 hour and how we're bending down on the 1 hour. Now on the lower indicators, we're seeing some volume loss. We saw a large volume spike in selling yesterday, but we saw the same thing on Wednesday of last week before it took off. I want to see if it's peaked out hard enough where it won't take off again and continues to come down. The same for the Q, so I'll be watching these mainly due to the 1 hour and see if they break those EMAs, come back down. Let me see, at least to the 323 for the Q, if that's the case, or around the 324.85 is what I want to see. So that'll be a $6, $7 pullback. And I think my theta is, my delta is destroyed at this point on this account. As far as making $50 a move, let me see what I'm making now. So with my combined 3 contracts, I still make $50 a move. So if it jumps, I'll make $300 back on that. But I still got a long way to go in order to regain some of that missing, some of the money that was lost ultimately on these puts. I have until Friday to hold these. The theta's picking up, of course. I'm losing about $126 a day versus $106 going into yesterday. Combined, I make about $100 on the spot and the Q together. So I'm looking to see how those go. Let's see, I also have a SPY put on my other account, so that combined puts me at like 141 to 150 on my theta, which I don't like to see the reversal where my theta is higher than my delta. It's almost not worth keeping. Let's see, I'm looking at the news to see if anything came out today. Expect strong second half of 2021. No, there hasn't been nothing that really, outside of the futures being lower, the German DAX, UK's FTSE or FTSE hit record highs, so maybe they'll pull back. That weight coming down will pull down on the international markets. I think they hit all-time highs due to the American markets hitting all-time highs, and they're just following suit. But like I said, for the most part, I feel like we've peaked out here, even on the Q, with it not even hitting all-time highs right now. It just broke out of that trend that it's been trading in for the most part. One thing that I am focusing on is not worrying about where my current positions are, but just focusing on my $104 to $270 gains per day. So if I were to have to let go of these puts that I have, I don't want to because of how well positioned I am as far as the amount of puts that I have. Even though they might be not be doing so well, at least right now, due to the markets being stupid overheated. I wish I had longer contracts out to probably next week, because it's typically about a 3 to 4 day period after we hit these levels on these markets where we actually retrace back down. So, see, we got the Justins in here, we got Jeff in here. We have somebody on the YouTube live stream. Something that I'll be working on, though, for you premium members that are online right now, is I'm working on an automation system on the side. That's what I've been doing for the most part, and while I've kind of fell off the calls a little bit, where if I place an order, it'll automatically share that order with you, so that you know what trades I'm going after, whether it's an option trade or a equity stake or just, buying shares of something. That's going to take a while to build and test and make sure that it's providing the information I need for it, for when things change for me in the next 2 weeks or so. So, but overall, I just want to see how the day performs. Like I said, we're trading under the EMAs on the lower time frames, but I want to see that on the higher ones, and that'll really confirm the move to the downside. For the most part, the SPYs and the QQQ has picked back up where we left off yesterday, which is rather disappointing, but it looks like the SPY is trying to break back down below 406 right now. So the 10 minutes trying to bend on the QQQ right now. Same for the SPY. They're in the exact same patterns, actually. So let me do this. Oh no, did it switch my thing? Let me reload this. It's taking forever to load today. There we go. The DAX just fell off here in the last 20 minutes. Let all this load up real quick. See what the 1 minute showing real quick, see if we're losing some momentum here. Looks like we're trying to conduct a full EMA crossover on the 1 minute for the Q, and potentially a breakdown, a fake out on the SPY. DXY is trying to pick up on the 1 minute. One thing I noticed about the IWM, it hasn't been able to stay above 22, 25, 22. And that's your smaller cap companies. I want to see what happens with that as well. Let's see, 15 minute. For the most part, it looks like the DXY is still trying to pull down, and that's going to allow stocks to pick back up some. Highly interested in coming out of those overbought statuses on the Q and the SPY this morning, which would Oh wow, I just seen it. It's down to 405.79. Jeez. Wow. Yeah. Come on down. You know I'm all for it. It just got down a little bit more. It's at 405.64 now. I'd like to see the Q follow it, if anything. We have a support level coming up. I want to see it break down below. Let's see. Right around the 405.53. See how it reacts. Those levels, DXY is trying to bend up, but it's been having EMA rejections on the lower time frames. I want to see it break through those as well. Looks like the Q's about to follow suit with the SPY here shortly. For the most part, will be what, about $1 down for the day? Somebody is spamming my freaking YouTube. Somebody's spamming my YouTube chat. I sent the same message 5 times. Good morning, Reg. How are you doing? Yeah. Are you talking about the Q? Or the SPY? Yeah. You said the SPY is all you care about right now? I got you. What we want to see is it hit that oversold and then double dip on the larger time frames. Let me see what the 5 minute looks like, because we should, based on that drop, we should start bending down now. Yeah, we are. So we might pull back a little bit, but for the most part, it looks like it's going to bounce down some more. Let me see the 10. Oh no, that 10 minute might have some weight on it and pull it back up. Let's see. One thing I didn't do is discover our support levels going into pre-market yesterday. And that sits around the 402.66. I mean, for the most part, even if these are shot, I bought those 2 SPY puts over the weekend as a test to see if it was better to buy them then in order to capture them at those price points that they were at before the markets, in case the markets gap down going into Monday. I had 2 other puts that expired yesterday. I ended up selling. They were worthless anyways, and wouldn't have made any difference. And then I had 2 more SPYs that I owned for $403.99, but my delta shot on those, so I don't see them recovering too much either. Yeah, yeah, I see it. I'm watching those 40. I think it was 405.56 is what I was interested in. It's sitting on it. Gotcha. So now I have 1, 2, 3, 4 SPY puts and 3 Q puts as well. My Qs are pretty much shot too, because it pretty much exploded, what, $6 since last week, or more than that, 7 or 8. Just took off on me, but I'm not really worried about it, because I know I can rebuild these accounts from scratch and keep it pushing. And that's kind of the discussion I want to have too, is, even going down our coffee and stocks list, I've been looking, and these are strong companies on the list. I like them all, or most of them. I don't say I like them all, but for the most part, let me look over here. Looks like I'm bogging down my PC. Like CAM was down, which is cannabis stock. BGI was down 10%. ZOM was down to 9%. It's at 133. Nikolai was down 7%. Socket down 7%. ONTX down 6, and it was performing well. It's actually below a dollar. KOS down 6. FCell down 6. So like, what I'm reason I'm talking about these is because for the most part, the only companies that did well yesterday is BCTX, DNN, VALE, GAXY, GM picked up. It's up to $61 right now. Ford was up to $12.70. Bingo hit $8.17, which it still has to get past $9.39, I think, in order to actually be a move, depending on when you bought in and held it. LDI, POW was up 4%, by the way, Jeff, or 3.5. But you know, companies aren't looking well at all. And what I was trying to see also on the side yesterday was, you know, what was our top gainers yesterday, but I don't know, it's just not looking like the companies you would expect to perform, especially with the Q doing as well as it's done. Didn't really do much. So even going in that direction, let's see what the EV space looked like. Workhorse down another 7%. It's down to $13 right now. Ride's down to 12. CCIV is sitting at 23 flat. It was down 3% yesterday. Fisker, FSR, was a company that was running. It was up to like $29, $30. It's all the way back down to $16 within a month. Like, that's just what's not making sense to me. Like, the markets are picking up, but yet these stocks are dying. BLNK was down 2% yesterday, sitting at 40.38. Tesla was down about 1%. NIO was down about 1%. I'm gonna look out of that and see what our semiconductors did well for the most part. Was green the entire day. The largest one being MX. It was up 7% yesterday, and NXPI was up 3%. Let's see what else. Crypto plays. Mara was up 15% yesterday, and Ride up another 10 with SPRT another 8.5. Like, I don't know. Let me see. What Palantir do yesterday? Nope, we're breaking we're at 405.65 right now on the SPY. Just saw that. Palantir jumped $1. That's it. On yesterday's run, and actually pulled back on Thursday's run. The Q is picking up. CMI was something we talked about. What's it doing? It's down. Lost all of the gains that it made yesterday. TME, same thing, down. Which TME is on the New York Stock Exchange. And these are all the liquidity stocks that I'm looking at right now. VLE. It's picked up, but it looks like it's about to bend down itself too. So, what I want to see and what I want to find out is what stocks are moving without any catalysts. Just purely off the markets moving up. ACY bounced. Yesterday, it jumped, I think, $5 or $6 at the end, at midday. After jumping about the same price range, or more actually, it went from $3.72 to about $14 on Thursday. Then it retested $15 yesterday, $16. And has since broken back down to $12.25. Looks like it's rounding off to keep running again today. Sitting on top of the EMAs on the 30-minute and the 1 hour. But for the most part, like, Just not seeing stocks perform. You're breaking up there, buddy. What was that, Jeff? I mean, Justin? Oh, okay. Jesus Christ, Jen. I just saw your messages. What time is it? Looks like I'm gonna have to take my daughter to school here today. Yeah. So, one thing I didn't do this morning, I didn't switch over the VP table. There you go. That way you guys are in the stream. And then, like, I really want somebody to point out to me what stocks are doing good right now. Not that I can't find out. I just want to know what people are holding and what they're actually seeing gains off of with the markets being high. Because I'm just not seeing it. I mean, you can go down the list of him. Microsoft picked up probably your blue stocks. Microsoft's sitting at 248 right now. Apple was at 226 at its peak yesterday, or 126. It's at 126 now, pre-market, but it's breaking down a little bit on the longer time frames. Let's see, Nvidia. It ran to 559 yesterday. AMD. So it's pretty much your blue chip tech stocks that are seeing, for the most part, runs. But any small caps, I'm not seeing. Small to mid, for that matter. Let's see what my scanner's looking like this morning as well. Looks like HBI. Let's see. Looks like it's about to bend up. FT. Space. BT is down this morning. Yeah, I mean, I'm just not impressed. Down to 405.52 on the SPY. Gonna go ahead and take my daughter to school real quick. Doesn't look like anybody's on the live stream anyways. So I'm gonna